Hey, good morning, Sleep Fitness Group. I'm also recording this in my Circadian Mama Instagram page. So if you have any friends on Instagram, you can also refer them over there to watch this last day of our sleep quest. So I'm really excited to have spent the last 3 days with you and allow you to get to know me better and how I teach. Today, I want to talk to you about finding your magic sleep number. So we will talk about bridge off of our discussion yesterday about rhythm and talk about consistency and talk about bedtimes and wake up times and all the numbers today. So before we get started, let's just come into the space. So if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, or if you want to close your eyes, or if you don't want to close your eyes and you're feeling really awake today, then find something to look at that feels calming or grounding or just enjoyable. Maybe notice your space in a new way. Or you can close your eyes for a moment. And if you close your eyes, just tune in to the sensations in your body, heartbeat, breathing. And how are you feeling today? How did you sleep last night? Are you feeling rested today? Energetic? Tired? Heavy? Just kind of tune in, check in for a moment. Maybe you slept well last night, but not the night before, so you might be feeling some of that today. If you're able to think back a couple nights, it can be helpful. I'll explain why in a moment. And I want you to just imagine for a moment, how is it that you feel when you've gotten enough sleep, when you've gotten a full night? How do you feel when you're at your top energy, when you feel the most energetic? How does that feel for you? Just bring that awareness into your body and that sensation. And then you can find your way back to us here, back to the screen. Okay, let me just check in here. Hi, Mandy. So I finally figured out how to check the comments. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this consistency. So when we were doing that visualization, I mentioned that maybe the way you're feeling today has to do with how you slept a few nights ago. So continuing my story from yesterday, and if you're watching this later, give me a hashtag replay so that I know that you came in later and I can come say hi. So segueing from yesterday, I told you a story about how I went to Yellowstone with my son on Sunday, and then we slept pretty good that night, and then that was Sunday night, and then Monday night, we slept okay, and then yesterday we had an early rising, so that means we both woke up earlier than our usual. And today we woke up a little earlier than usual, but got more sleep. So I think we're almost getting back to normal rhythms again. So when you do something like that, when you go on a trip, or if you have a really stressful day at work, or you have a birthday party, those forms of positive stress can actually stick with you for a couple days. So that is why consistency is really important when it comes to sleep. Because even if you are super consistent, like we are in my house, we are very consistent with our sleep, your rhythms still get thrown off. But if you keep the sleep rhythm at least consistent, your body can recover faster. So what does sleep consistency look like? I'm sure you've heard this before, but getting up at the same time every morning is really important. In fact, when I did a sleep study a couple of years ago, and I have a blog about that on my website, it was a very spooky experience actually. It was on the night of a full moon. When I did my sleep study a few years ago, anyway, the sleep doctor, he told me, if you do anything, just wake up at the same time every day, every day. And I've read that so many places, and I resisted it for most of my life. I resisted that because I had to get up at 5 a.m. as a personal trainer, And then on the weekends, I didn't want to get up at 5 a.m. Like, why would I do that on the weekend? And especially because I stayed out late on the weekends. So, but consistency is really key. And whenever you can come around to accepting that, then that's when you will start doing it. So there's no pressure there. It's just something to know and to hold until you're ready for it. And once I had my first child, I was ready for it because I wanted some consistency in my life. So if you're looking for consistency in your life, you can start by creating consistency in your life. So we want to have a consistent rising time. And then with a consistent rising time, the key to that not feeling like a drag, like, oh, I got to get up at the same time every day. The key to that feeling good is to go to bed at the same time every night. That's the other piece. That was the piece I was missing. I didn't understand, like, why would I want to wake up at 5 a.m. on the weekend? But if you're going to wake up at 5 a.m. for work every day, and then maybe you need to go to bed at like 7 or 8, depending on how much sleep you need, then you need to do that on the weekend too. It just, the more consistency, the better. It's like having breakfast around the same time every day. It's like that rhythm we talked about yesterday. You want your heartbeat on a rhythm. You want your breathing on a rhythm. We want to get our sleep on a rhythm as much as possible. So around here, we actually wake up naturally every day. So we don't have an alarm clock in my house because we are regulated in our bedtime. So if you go to bed early enough and you get enough sleep on a consistent basis, you don't need an alarm clock. Your body will wake you up naturally every day around the same time. And I would say our wake ups here are within 15 minutes every day. They vary slightly, but they're within about 15 minutes. So, and that's because our bedtimes are consistent. So every night I tuck my kids in within 5 minutes of the same time. So my older one goes in his bed at 7:45, my younger one goes in at 7:50, and I stay pretty close to those time markers because I've seen how valuable it is to get them tucked in at that time, and then I know I have the rest of the evening to myself, and then I turn off my lights at 9:15. And I am very regimented with that because I love waking up in the morning naturally. It feels so good to me to wake up after 9 hours of sleep, and I wake up naturally and my house is quiet and the light's coming in the window and I feel rested and I'm ready for the day. That to me is the greatest gift on this earth. So I make it a priority to get myself in bed at the same time every night. But it's not just about that. There's also I need to turn off my screens an hour before bed because if I am looking at a screen within that hour, I then have night wakings, very brief night wakings, but I don't sleep as deep, and I know that. So, and I still sometimes give in and look at my screen a little too late, and then I know I'm gonna have consequences from that. So I am not perfect. I'll let you know if I ever am. So consistent rising time is a lot of times the first thing to set your body clock, and then setting a consistent bedtime that gives you enough hours to sleep. So this isn't about just like, okay, I have to get up at 6 every morning and I want to go to bed at 10 every night, and I'm going to just set that. The 10 o'clock at night bedtime may not work for your body. If you go to bed at 10 and you have to wake up at 6 and you feel tired all day, that's a good sign that you're not getting enough sleep. Or if you go to bed at 10 and wake up at 6 and you need caffeine to get started, that's a sign you're not getting enough sleep. That could also have to do with the fact that your body needs water right when you wake up, something I talked about on the first 2 days, and you need a nutritious meal, whatever that might look like for you. And I recommend you check out Heather Fleming, Conscious Nutrition. She also goes by the name Nourish with Heather. Check her out. She's really great at helping people identify what is the best way to eat for them. So we're all different, and I love that. I love a nutrition philosophy that allows me to customize for myself and tune into my body because I am all about body awareness. So that may or may not work for you. You might like having a plan, but that's out there if you're interested in that. And it can take some experimenting. So if I were to give you a whole week and you had no obligations and no time to wake up in the morning and no one to bother you, what time would you naturally go to bed and naturally wake up in the morning, and how much sleep would you get in between? I know most of my life I knew that I loved getting 9 hours of sleep, but I would just follow the guidelines that said 7 to 9 and think, oh, I could just get 7, right? That's healthy. This isn't about what's healthy, it's about what your body actually needs. And that's what I call the magic sleep number. So, whatever that number is, when you consistently get that amount of sleep, you will unlock all of your human superpowers. So, when I get 9 hours of sleep, I am happy to see my children in the morning. I'm ready to clean up the kitchen. I am excited about my day. But when I don't get that much sleep, I'm just a little more slow to get out of bed. I just am not really so excited to start my day. And I like having that joy about life. I like feeling that vitality. So I make that a priority for myself. And I know a lot of people will say, like, I don't have enough time for sleep. I don't have enough time to sleep 9 hours a night. That's a big commitment. For me, it's a matter of that if I sleep that much, I feel like I have more time in the day. And it's not so much more time, it's more energy. But I actually feel like if you can invest that amount of time in your sleep, it pays you off in dividends. So I'll just leave that there for you. And and it's not just about getting 8 or 9 hours of sleep a night. A lot of people struggle to get the right amount of sleep every night because they don't have the consistency piece. So you can't just on a particular evening decide, I'm going to go to bed and get 9 hours of sleep tonight. I mean, you can. Sometimes you can. You might get lucky. You might be really exhausted. But in order to get that regular amount of sleep every night, you need to be on a rhythm because there are hormones that support sleep, like melatonin and cortisol, which I talk about in my sleep program, that you want to get them on a rhythm. And when they're on a rhythm, then you can get the right amount of sleep every night. So that is most of what I wanted to talk about today as far as sleep science goes, and just see if you have any questions about that. And then what I'd like to do for the last couple minutes is share my Sleep Soundly program with you. So you've gotten to know me over the last few days, and I just want you to know that I do have a very supportive program available for you. It is a 5-week program that helps you figure out your natural rhythm, and you can do the program with coaching or without coaching. And so I just want to take a moment to tell you about it. It's a PDF file, and it's a 30-minute read once a week. So you read for 30 minutes, and then you fill out a journal for the week. And if you get coaching, you send me that journal every week, and I help you with your sleep. And without coaching, you just fill out the journal and do it on your own. So the choice is there. And here's what we cover in there. So I talk about this whole idea of having more time to sleep and show you some of the research, how sleeping more actually gives you more time or more energy. In the first week, I do this very gentle. I find that sleep can be very triggering for people. Like if they're not sleeping, it can be very triggering to talk about sleep. So it's this very gentle easing into it. So the first week, you don't have to change anything. You don't have to do anything. All you do is, well, you have to do something. You fill out a journal. That's it though. So you read for 30 minutes, you fill out the journal. We talk a little bit about stress, which I talked about on the first day of this sleep quest. I teach you a little bit about sleep science so that you understand what's going on when you're sleeping. Just very light science. And then you fill out your journal for the week. And if you have coaching, you send it to me. And the second week, we talk about things like caffeine and afternoon sleepiness and sleep temperature and all these little habits and lifestyle factors that play into sleep that you've probably heard about. I just help you understand some of the science behind them. And then you start taking a look at those in your life and which ones might you be willing to change or which ones might you be ready to shift. Most people have an entry point that they're already pretty much ready to make some changes, and they just need to know what the benefits of those changes will be. So, like I've said before, everyone has a different entry point into better sleep and more energy. So in the third week, you are learning about your own body signals, sleep cues. I help you design an evening routine for yourself, which is key to helping you get into bed consistently. And I talk about melatonin, our sleep hormone, and you're filling out your journal again. And then in the fourth week, we talk all about rising time, morning routines. I ask you to try doing a sleep reset for a week where you just try having a consistent rhythm for a week to see what happens. We talk about sleeping in. And in the fifth week, I talk about recovery, what happens when we don't sleep enough, and the recovery cycle that a lot of humans and Americans especially are stuck in. 30% of US adults don't get enough sleep, and I talk about, you know, how that puts you in a consistent stress and recovery cycle. So stress stress during the day carries into the night. Not sleeping at night makes your stress levels higher during the day. And so I don't want you to stress about that, but I do just want to mention that and point it out. And in the last week, we talk about this recovery. We also talk about sleep medications and disorders because sometimes people do have a medical condition that's preventing them from sleeping. So, yeah, so that's the program. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I am offering a discount on it until Monday. So the program itself is usually $99, so I'm offering it for $79 until Monday. And I'm offering my coaching program instead of $299, I'm offering it for $249 until Monday. And I have one more extra sweet bonus for you. And that is if you do sign up with the discount, you'll also get a weekly coaching call with me, a group coaching call on Thursday mornings. And if you can't make Thursday mornings, you can get the recording after. But I will be just supplementing the PDF. It's a PDF. It's like an ebook, except it's a very actionable. And I'll be supplementing that with a video. So that's something special I'm doing just for people who sign up before Monday. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll put the codes to get the discount in the comments for you. It's in my website, and it's Sleep Quest and Sleep Quest Coach, all capital letters. Those are the discount codes. So let me just go and see if there's any questions or comments before I say goodbye. Take a pause and a deep breath. Thanks so much for joining me this week, and thanks for sharing with your friends. And your whether or not you purchase the program, you're welcome in the community to ask questions anytime and reach out for support. And I just look forward to supporting you along your sleep journey in whatever capacity that may be. So thanks for being here, and have a lovely Thursday, and I will see you out there.